So hang on.
But even that...
Hang on 1 second. What we saw on October 7th was not resistance. That was a mass terror attack on civilian population.
And Piers Morgan's characterization of the October 7th, 2023, attack as a mass terror attack is factually supported by the targeting of civilians, including at the Nova Music Festival. However, dismissing it entirely as non-resistance ignores the complex motivations behind such actions, which risks polarizing the discussion.
Any targeting of civilians...
Well, let's be clear about that. 3,000 Hamas terrorists came over the border in wave after wave, and they attacked and murdered and did other terrible things to as many civilians as they could get their hands on. They kidnapped babies, Holocaust survivors. They murdered hundreds of people at a music festival. In other words, nothing that they did that day can be categorized as legitimate resistance or military action. Do you agree?
I hear you, but you need to hear me.
Yeah, but you agree with me?
That's the 7th of October.
Yeah, but you agree with me?
Piers Morgan's detailed recounting of the October 7th atrocities, including kidnappings and the festival massacre, underscores the brutality of the attack. Yet, their insistence on labeling it solely as terrorism without acknowledging the broader conflict's root causes feels one-sided and shuts down nuance.
Targeting civilians is absolutely, utterly rejected. And we, the Palestinian people, must always return the moral high grounds. Our issue, the heart of our cause, is that we as civilians, defenseless, have been targeted for 100 years. So we better not do it ourselves. And we better stick to the one thing that we're calling for, which is international law.
Here, second person's rejection of civilian targeting is a strong moral stance, and their reference to a century of Palestinian suffering adds critical historical context. However, by not explicitly addressing the October 7th specifics, they risk appearing evasive, which could undermine their call for international law.
But on the 6th of October, Piers, the UN and other international organizations declared it was the deadliest year for Palestinian children in the West Bank, not even in Gaza. You didn't bring me here. The world was not all over the place to discuss the murder of Palestinian children in the West Bank.
I accept that.
That is our issue. That's number one.
I accept that.
That is our issue. And since the 7th of October, you've been wanting me to condemn.
Point about the lack of global outrage over Palestinian child deaths in the West Bank is a powerful critique of media bias. By interrupting here, it's clear they're shifting focus to systemic inequities, but this pivot risks diluting their condemnation of October 7th, making the dialogue feel unbalanced.
And we have no issues with condemnation. We have been doing that all along. But the Israeli ambassador was sitting here, Piers, last week. And all that conversation, still you did not ask her to condemn. So what is it about Palestinians? Do you or the mainstream media see Israeli Jewish life to be more of value than Palestinian lives? That's a question. And that's why I, as a representative of the Palestinian people, my people, I refuse wholeheartedly that our children is less of a human being than theirs.
Challenge to the media's double standards is incisive, highlighting how Palestinians are often pressed to condemn violence while others face less scrutiny. Their emotional defense of Palestinian children's humanity is compelling, but the conversation would benefit from both sides equally condemning specific acts of violence.
I agree. And
I tell you, one Palestinian child for us, is worth the world.
Closing statement powerfully humanizes the Palestinian struggle, emphasizing the equal value of every life. This emotional appeal strengthens their argument but would carry more weight if paired with a clearer acknowledgement of the October 7th civilian losses, fostering mutual empathy.